father had built for Mother over 30 years ago, the only remaining portion of his estate that her lawyers had been able to retain on her behalf. Milwaukee was no longer her home. Mullerian Manor was. A bit of a lofty name, Marian concluded as it came into view, considering it was a summer home, but the name was also apt. On the one hand, it was a thing of beauty, while on the other, it mimicked the noxious nature of a house a soul could get lost in. Mother's certainly had. And Marian? She'd spent summers here growing up, attempting to see past the warning signs to the beauty beneath. Now, as she surveyed the sprawling brick, 3-story home with its angular gables, multiple chimneys, and maple-studded lawns, Marian knew she could have done far worse with bankruptcy. At the same time, she wished she had never returned to this place of confusion. The motor car backfired, and this time Marian couldn't squelch her cry. A cloud of dust, a flurry of blackbirds clearing the way, and the rust-colored foliage waving in greeting proceeded to welcome her to her now permanent home. Marian's muscles relaxed as she caught sight of Frederick, who had managed Mullerian Manor since before she'd been born. This time he was alone, instead of having a footman by his side. Father had attempted to maintain his English roots by employing a litany of household staff that would imitate an English estate. Apparently, that too had been affected by the recent fall of the Arnold Empire. The car door was wrenched open with a protesting groan. Marian palmed the hand of her chauffeur and crawled from the innards like a butterfly from its cocoon. A rush of fresh air filled her nostrils, the crispness ripe with the scent of dying leaves and the out-of-doors. Her shoes connected with the brick drive, and she held on to her turban-wrapped hair as the wind picked up and threatened to undo it. "Miss Arnold." The warmth in Frederick's voice was accompanied by the shaky vibrato of age. His smile was oh so familiar, and without thought, Marian hurled herself into the older man's arms. Frederick stiffened, unaccustomed to such displays by Marian or anyone of the upper class, but within a moment he'd returned her embrace with a grandfatherly one of his own. Marian pulled away, her hands holding either side of Frederick's shoulders. "Oh, I'm so thankful you're still here." "Of course." He gave a nod. "Where else would I go?" "Can I afford you?" Marian looked to her side as though the lawyer who had attended to her for the last 6 weeks would still be there. "Don't fret on that." Frederick waved her off. "All has been handled." "Who's left?" Marian inquired of the household staff as her chauffeur took on the task of dumping her trunk at the door, since no one else had come to assist him. Frederick's wince wasn't disguised, but he smiled anyway. "Felix is home from the front, missing a leg and a large part of his soul, I'd say. War took a toll on the boy." Marian offered an appropriate nod. She'd heard Felix, who had worked in the gardens with his father as a boy and grown up alongside of Marian, had gone to France not more than 3 or so years prior. She'd never inquired as to his welfare. "And his mother?" "Still here, thank the good Lord, or we'd all be starving." Frederick chuckled and offered Marian his arm. She slipped her hand into his elbow, and they took the rounded stone stairs up to the veranda together. "I do love Mrs. Dale's cooking." Frederick nodded, but a strange look crossed his face, and Marian was quick to notice it. "Frederick?" He patted her hand even as she extricated it from his elbow, as Frederick stood to the side to allow Marian passageway into the manor. "Don't worry, Miss Arnold. I was only thinking how little Mrs. Dale and Felix are appreciated these days. I'm glad that we're here in the countryside."